And Wiggy as the Patriots begin the fourth quarter here with the Vikings facing a 3rd and 5. How you doing, Wig?
I'm doing good. I'll be doing better once we get a stop here.
You're going to say, how do you feel about your team? There's a sack from Trey Flowers, of course. How do you feel about your team?
You know what? I was a little bit disappointed up until that point because I just feel like, the pass rush, I hop on it every game because I think when they get there consistently and they just make quarterbacks feel uncomfortable, they're a completely different team. And I kind of felt like I hadn't seen that a lot tonight. Luckily they were able to get one right there, but that's something that for me going forward, that's going to make this, especially defensively, because they struggle. And when you give a quarterback time, man, it's –
Yeah, I thought early they were getting a lot of pressure on Cousins. Early.
It was early, but you know what happened? It was early, but then there went like this drought where it felt like he had all day to throw the ball defensively. That would be the one issue that I had. Early, they were getting it to him because I think they were blitzing a lot early. If you saw that, they were bringing guys. They were trying to put extra rushes in there, which I like to see them do because they don't have, two horses up front who can just win individual battles.
Okay, we just saw Gronkowski catch that seam ball and come up lame. Sean writes in and says he'll never forgive Kraft for blocking the Gronk trade. Gronk is done. You worry about Rob Gronkowski, Wig?
You know what? He took a good hit. Now I want to see if they go to him again. He's back out on the field. Looks like he got a little limp, but I want to see what happens with him. I'm not too concerned because, they've been using him mainly as a blocker.
Well, hold on. So that doesn't concern you that they're using him mainly as a blocker?
No, I don't think it doesn't concern me because it's not like he's not running any pass routes. He's running pass routes, and
So
Brady.
You're not concerned about Rob Gronkowski's health at all. Are you fucking okay?
But no. You asked me about that hit.
Are you concerned about Rob Gronkowski's health?
Oh yeah, always moving forward. Yes.
Okay, but nothing specifically today.
No, not today. Not today. That hit he took. It was a good hit, and then he got up lame a little bit. He's back out there. But I'm always, anytime they throw the ball to him and he catches it, I'm always praying, please get up, please get up. So, yes, okay. I'm always concerned with that.
Okay. He was off the injury report. Then he was back on during the week. He takes that shot. He limps off the field. You're right. He is back out there. He's split out wide now. So, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Did you watch him run just there?
Yeah, I did.
Go back and watch him run off the line right there, and you tell me if you feel okay about him.
He's not the same Gronkowski, but
that didn't look right.
It's hard to tell, Mike. Based off he ran a 10-yard in, I want to see. To me, you'll get a look once Brady throws him the ball again to see how he looks, kind of if he catches it. The one thing I was a little bit looking at, I felt like when he had that one catch early in the game where I felt like if he could have leaned forward, he's so big, he runs high all the time.
Okay, they just pick up another first down there with Michelle. How do you feel about the offense in general today, Wig? And folks, we'll answer your comments here as we go along. We got already somebody queued up in the fan line, so you can hit the upper right-hand corner of your screen for the fan line. Join us on air on your smartphone. Real quick, Wig, the offense in general today felt very conservative.
Yes, two things. I felt like they moved the ball well at times, but I felt like there was some bad third down calls again with Josh McDaniels. Like the toss on third down, and they got stuck. There was a couple plays where I'm like, why are they doing that? Like, it's 3rd and 5 and you're running the ball. Just let Brady, throw the ball. Then you get down there and I think it might have been close to the goal line. I think when they ended up kicking the field goal, then they didn't want to run the football. There's some calls that I'm looking at today's game. I'm always like, Josh, I don't get it. I don't get it. And the fact that they haven't been able to put it in the red zone. They struggled when they've got inside the red zone a little bit today.
Okay, let's queue up Matt in Framingham. Our good buddy is going to join us again on the fan line. You can do the same, upper right-hand corner of your screen, and you just point the smartphone at yourself, and we can see your pretty face. We just lost Matthew. So someone else want to jump in and take his spot? Go ahead. Okay, Brady, Wiggy, here's what I've seen from the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Check down after check down after check down after check down after check. How many balls? Both teams, frankly. I think Minnesota finally snapped out of it, but all this is dump offs to the running back. Do you think they're trying to protect someone with that?
I don't know. I've been wondering why they hadn't gone to Josh Gordon early in the game. I know he caught the touchdown. They went back to him a couple times late, but it did seem like early in the game, especially with Rex Burkhead, it was either, like you said, more screens and getting the ball out quick.
Okay, Andrew in Salem joins us next on the Fan Line. How you doing, Andrew? What do you
I'm
think?
doing well today. I'm thinking Wiggy's right about this. I don't know why McDaniels keeps making weird third down plays. The one that stands out to me today was the one right after the challenge in the first half where they direct snap to James White. Third and inches, just fucking run it up the middle.
Right.
Some positive notes today that I'm noticing. I think the offensive line has been a real big step up today. I think is probably the best they've played all year. And then third, I'm just curious why they come out each week and they're so fucking aggressive. It's like just foot on your throat and just stomp. And then they forget that. And then it's like they're not playing anymore. So I wonder why they keep doing that.
Okay, so what I see, Andrew, thanks for calling, as always. What I see, Wiggy, is at home. They're just a different team.
Yep.
I mean, they were so ready to go for this game. Physical on defense, sharp offensively. Minnesota was not ready to go. And then they go on the road, and they can't really, capture that same urgency on the road, which is perplexing for a team as veteran as they are.
Right, and that's why we've talked about this numerous times, and that's why I said that the number one seed is so important for them, because you're right. They are a different team on the road than they are at home, but I would say most teams are like that. But they're just this year they've been like really, really bad on the road. They start off slow, and I think there's a point in time when I'm wondering, if you look at the possessions early in the game, they move the football and always get to that. And I'll say, like, I just don't get some of the calls that Josh makes. You got Tom back there. If it's 3rd and 5, let him throw. If it's 3rd and inches, turn around and hand it off to Sony Michel. I can live with that rather than, Brady jumping up in the air like it's going over his head, direct snap. So there are a few things that I looked at, but I don't mind the early, quick dump down stuff, the screens and that kind of thing. I don't mind it, especially when it's working and it's effective.
Okay, Matt in Framingham apparently is back on the Fan Line. You can join us too on the Fan Line, also saying your chats here, and I'll answer these as we go along as well. But Matthew in Framingham is next. Matthew, go ahead, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah, how you doing, fellas? I think this is the best game I've seen out of the defense all year. And I was worried seeing Gronk go down like that. The way he got up, I'm worried about him down the stretch. But finally, somebody, either I don't know if it was McDaniels or Gordon himself, must have whispered in Brady's ear, at the end of the third quarter, they're like, "Hey, throw it to Josh Gordon." 2 passes later, touchdown, and now another way. It's just unbelievable how quick and. I can hear from here all the fantasy dorks going crazy right now because definitely not all their Michelle fantasy points, and they're not going to make the playoffs, and it's just But
Matthew, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Matthew. Wiggy, what took him so long to go to Gordon?
You know what? That's what I was wondering throughout the game. I was looking. I saw Philip Dorsett in there a couple times, and I'm wondering, we've seen Brady try to get him involved early in the football game. And I don't know what the hell I think that you get him involved early. He should be targeted, 2-3 times a quarter, in my opinion. But like I said, I felt like the flow of the game early was a lot of the check downs, a lot of the screens, a lot of to the running backs. Because like I said, we saw Rex Burkhead early. I felt like we haven't seen him after probably about the first quarter and a half. But
do you think they're trying to protect Brady for any reason?
I don't know if they're trying to protect him. What do you mean protect him? In what way?
Not expose him? Maybe there's something wrong, so he's, they don't want him throwing down the field much, etc.
No, I don't think so. I just think that the way, because this team is so, especially offensively, week to week, it's so big. Like the game plan changes. Like they might go 1 week, you see them go, all deep balls, and the next week it's short. Then the next week it's run. So they're so game plan week to week. The game plan changes, but I do feel like Josh Gordon is the type of guy that you have to take throw his way 2-3 times a quarter.
Okay, James in California joins us next on the Fan Line. We'll pop him up as we continue to take your quotes and your comments. Kieran says, "Hey, Felger, maybe you should wear a headset so we can freaking hear you. Can you not hear me?" James in California, what's up, buddy?
I just want to talk about the offense still doesn't look right to me, and there's literally no way they're going to win a road game in Kansas City. There's no way it's happening. None.
Okay. The offense, it does not look, Wiggy, like one of these explosive offenses across the league. It feels like, I don't know how they keep up and attract me because it doesn't feel like they have quite the same explosiveness, like James says.
Well, you know what
Also, can we go to a game together?
Maybe you got to wear a shirt, dude. You got to put on some
wear
clothes.
a shirt if we go to a game together.
Okay, fine. Stay in touch. Thanks, dude. Okay, babe.
I would say this, fellas. I would say the offense, the thing that I think that is a little disappointing with the offense, especially this year, and we've seen in the past, is their inability to score in the red zone. You know, we've always been like with this offense, we felt like once they got in the red zone, they were scoring touchdowns. They weren't kicking field goals. Now it seems like when they get in the red zone, it seems like they're kicking more field goals than they are scoring touchdowns. So that is definitely concerning, especially early in the game. But then in the second half, I think we start to see them score more touchdowns in the red zone. So the first half, I'm definitely concerned about their inability to, when they get in the red zone, to come away with touchdowns.
So defensively, how do you feel about the team today? Let me just give you my thought initially. I think Minnesota played into it. I think Minnesota played this game largely like a bunch of pussies to start this game. You've got all that talent on the outside, and Diggs and Thielen and even Rudolph. You got a quarterback who ostensibly should be able to throw the football, and they're the ones dinking and dunking too. They took them way too long to start challenging the Patriots down the field. But be that as it may, 10 points is 10 points.
Right. I think defensively they've done a good job. The thing I like to see them do that they're doing, and I like to see more of it, but I think it's because of their inability to get to the quarterback consistently with just 4 rushes. You see them putting a lot of pressure and blitzing guys. But the problem is when they do that, you put guys on an island in the back end, and we've seen a couple times where they're blitzing and cornerbacks are giving a guy a 6-7 yard cushion. He's able to catch the ball, pick up the first down. I don't understand why they keep playing Jason McCourty. I just don't get it. You know, you look at the only touchdown that Minnesota scored off of that was the Thielen, and basically it was double coverage with him and his brother, and he's playing outside, and Thielen catches a corner route. Explain that to me. You're playing outside leverage, and the guy catches a outside breaking route on you. I don't understand that, and I feel like week to week it's the same thing with him.
4th and inches for Minnesota here. This is the game, Wig. If you're Minnesota, what do you do? Look at this backfield. Look at this. Quarterback sneak it. QB sneak.
I think everybody in the building knows that, though. I just hand it off to they got 2 good running backs. I would just hand it off to my running back and say, "Give me a yard."
And they give it to Murray. That's so fucking stupid.
But I mean, he's a good player, though. He's a good back.
No, he's not. He's a plot. That to me is the kind of running back I hate. That's an old school guy that has no place in the game today.
Yeah, but
Cook is so much more explosive.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, but I think they might look at this guy as being like, he should be able to pick up a yard.
Look at how high he was running.
Kind of looks like Cordero Patterson back there.
That's freaking horrible. Put your head down.
Just hit it and go. I'll take
that. Was horrible running.
But
good defense.
There's still 9 minutes. You got to, in order to end it. Oh, they gave him the first.
They gave him the first?
Wow. Come on, Bill. Hurry up. Get that thing out of your sock.
I love that.
First on that?
Don't you love that look on his face when he does? He's like.
Because he really thinks like the refs are idiots. Like they gave.
That's a horrible spot. You see him telling him to back the fuck up? I was Bill telling Thielen to back the fuck up.
What's his face? Derek Mason tried that one time with Bill Belichick, wide receiver, used to play for the Baltimore Ravens, talking shit to Belichick, and Bill told him, "Shut the fuck up and look at the scoreboard." But hey, say what you want. This is what we've talked about a lot. It comes down to coaching, right? I I've only watched Minnesota a few games. I always know that Dalvin Cook is super explosive, but that's the difference of, maybe having your best back there versus, trying to give it to a guy that maybe you feel like is more of a short yardage runner. But I think when you look at especially in the postseason, when you look at how teams are going to come in to New England, they're going to make mistakes. Coaches are going to call bad plays, that kind of thing. And I know that last guy was talking about KC, but come on, don't you look at KC as being a different team now without Kareem Hunt?
So I was going to ask about that. Boston Sports Takes wrote something in and said that Saints lost and now Hunt being off Kansas City. Does that make you, I don't know, does that change the landscape across the league, even when you look at the NFC side, Wiggy?
I think it definitely does. It definitely changes. I don't know about the NFC side because I still think the Rams, LA is the best team on the NFC side. But on the AFC side, I think it completely changes the landscape because, in my opinion, Kareem Hunt, he's probably, you can argue that he might be your best offensive weapon, right? And so now you lose him. If you're the Patriots, you look at that, you look at the situation, you got to be thinking, hey, guys, listen, the likelihood of them going, the rest of the season only with one loss is probably going to be pretty difficult, especially when they lose a player like that. So I think every game that, if you're the Patriots, every game you're looking at that you win, it puts pressure on KC that they have to continue to win.
Wiggy, how about this play? The Pats going to win this challenge?
I think so because it looked like he stopped them, the momentum, and he was in the backfield. So I mean, I
don't think he was close.
Right.
I don't think he was close.
Let's see.
They said the call stands.
Oh, did they?
That's fucking unbelievable. I don't think he was close.
Yeah, he's not even near the sticks.
Watch Bill. Watch Bill here yell at Thielen. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, he says. That's great.
Classic.
That's great. It's upheld. That's horrible. He wasn't even close.
Call. That was a horrible call. That was horrible. So by no stretch of the means is this game over. Basically, after that call right there, I was thinking, all right, you stop them there. Now you go down and score and you put them away. Because now what they're going to do is they're going to play everything deep. They're going to keep everything in front of them. But sometimes when they do that, they give up these chunk yardage checkdowns or crossers. But
just like that.
There it is. Because this is what I'm talking about, Felder. They can't get pressure with their front four.
Yeah, well, that's true.
They just can't do it.
Flowers. Flowers is the only guy.
Right, but even with Flowers, right, I think he's a good player, but he's not like always consistent, They get pressure when they get pressure when they bring pressure. That should be their motto. We get pressure when we bring pressure. And that's what I like to see them doing. I mean, you give a guy a clean pocket like that as a quarterback, you can just, sit back there and, just pick, just drop dimes all day long.
Bad throw, bad catch right there by the Vikings. That Vikings team should be so much better than they are. There's just something, they don't play with any, I don't know. It's just something about they're not aggressive enough. They don't push the ball. They don't push the pace.
Well, but that doesn't that come down to coaching? What's the difference between this team this year and last year? If anything, they got a better quarterback. What is it? No. And that's what I said. It comes down when you look at it. It's all across the league, except for I would probably say the Rams because the Rams were decent last year, but they gave one away in the postseason. But look at these teams. You look at a team like the Chicago Bears, perfect position. They go into New York and they lose to a shitty team like that. You obviously you talk about Minnesota. Here's a team last year that was basically in the NFC Championship, and now they're struggling. They're struggling to make the playoffs. And to me, it comes down with the coaching because Why are you doing the things that you did last year?
Derek writes in about that, the other replay challenge that the Patriots had with that Rudolph catch on the sidelines. Do you think that was a catch or not?
I thought that was I thought that was an incomplete pass, but I guess the guy Pereira came on there and said, like, once you and see, that's why I don't like this rule, right? That's why I don't like the new rule change. I like the rule like it was last year where you had to survive the catch, because I remember we might have talked about this. I can't remember, because I said, what happens on the sideline when you get 2 feet in bounds and then somebody hits the ball? You don't have time to make a football move, right? So that's what they base that rule on when the guy knocks it out of your hand. Did he catch it? Did he secure it? And did he make a football move? But when you're on the sidelines, there's no real football move. It's just catching it and getting in bounds. So I thought that was an incomplete pass.
See, Cousins plays like a fucking pussy. I'm sorry. All these little short throws on,
you're down by 15. Yeah, I don't get it. You gotta be pressing the ball down the field. Pressing it. But that's got to be coming from the offensive coordinator in the headsets. Like, hey, Kirk, we're down by 14. Let's push it. Try to squeeze one in there if you can.
Here's the ball game again.
All right. See this little thing they got where they got one down guy and they got a bunch of guys at the line of scrimmage? That's what
again with the short throw.
But they brought pressure there.
Well, you got it still.
Right, but you have to know where your deep route is, right? If that was a break off, like with blitz is coming, some routes are built in, a guy has to break it off. You as a quarterback got to know 4th and 11, I got to throw it to whoever my deep man is, right? So let's see which one of these guys runs a deep route. So he's got to be throwing it up top to one of those 2 guys, knowing that.
Wig, a lot of the commenters are saying best defense showing all year, says Ryan. Michael says Pat's tackling has been great today. Is this their best tackling day, defensive day?
Yeah, I would say that this is their best. This is their best day defensively. Coverage. They've been a little sketchy against the run. They've given up a few runs here, but they've been decent against the runs tackling. The only thing I would say that they kind of fell off a little bit is they kind of got stagnant with putting pressure on Cousins for a little bit period of time. But I think overall, this has been think about it. Thielen only has 1 or 2 catches. He's been shut down pretty much for the whole game.
So the commenters are saying Schefter's reporting that Mike McCarthy's just been fired in Green Bay.
Finally.
What fucking Brady. What the fuck is
And
that?
he got crushed. And he got absolutely crushed. Guy off the edge, free.
Yeah. That didn't come out of his hand right.
That was a flutterer.
All right. On McCarthy, what fucking point is that? Their season's over. They lose again to all that is making, that's a bad move. That's a bullshit move.
You don't like. So you're not a fan of coaches getting fired in season?
Well, not like that. I mean, if your season's over, right. so now you're making him a scapegoat. It's like, no, he deserved to lose his job. It's time for them to move on. But the time to do that was a month ago, when they still had time to save their season. Now you're just playing out the string, but you're going to fire him now just so you can show everybody that he was the problem. That's just chicken shit.
But I think there's a problem with that thinking, though, because if you're thinking about a month ago, they're probably still thinking to themselves, "Hey, we still got a chance." And
they don't have a chance right now. They have a chance.
But you're saying if they fired him a month ago, right?
Yes, they should have done it a month ago to try and get a spark out of the team. It wasn't working with McCarthy. It hasn't been working with McCarthy for a long time. So they should have done it a month ago while they still had a chance to save this season. Now they can't save this season.
No, but I think their thought process is that a month ago, they probably still felt like he was the guy. They probably still felt like McCarthy was the guy, and that, hey.
Well, this is what frustrates me. It took him too long to figure it out.
Yeah, I listen, I've always said this, and I'll continue to say this. I think I've always felt like McCarthy was overrated as a coach. And I have always said this, I felt like Aaron Rodgers was overrated as a quarterback in the sense of he was supposed to be the next guy. And for him to only have, one Super Bowl appearance under his belt. And, I just felt like that's an organization that has underachieved with that guy at quarterback.
I mean, I think Rodgers took a big step back this year. He's been horseshit this whole year. Just absolute horseshit. All right, but that's as a commenter says, do Green Bay on your own time. Fucking, we'll let the cheeseheads worry about that situation. We got the Patriots here. Brady just let him back in the ball game. Should the Pats have been running there? Do you blame the Pats?
I would have been running the football. I would have been running the football there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that goes back to my Josh McDaniels. It's like you would think he'd be running the football in that situation, and then when you think that he should be throwing the football, he's running the football on 3rd and 5 early in the game. So that goes back to my, the head scratches with him as an offensive coordinator at times. Like, Josh, what are you doing? Come on, put pressure on him.
Another check down, another short throw underneath. That's all they're fucking doing.
What's going on? I mean, I see what Brady.
So who missed that? Is that Burkhead's problem? Is that Burkhead's fault?
Well, he should have been sliding the line that way. That was a bad throw because that's what the look you want. Edelman versus a linebacker on an out route.
Right.
I just that's the other thing that frustrates me about defensively, not with all, but it's like everybody but Gilmore. It's just like when our receivers catch the ball, this guy's draped all over them. When other teams get receivers catch the ball, it's like there's nobody around. I mean, I don't.
Comment says Brady hasn't been picking up the blitz all season. Do you agree with that?
He hasn't been picking up the blitz?
Right.
I mean, I don't know about all season. I mean, in that situation, he clearly didn't. They didn't slide. They didn't see it. Come on. There it is.
Great play. There's the Harmon deflected interception in the end zone to end the game.
Yeah.
How many times did he do that?
Hey, he's probably got – I bet every one of his interceptions has come off a place like that.
Like a deflection, desperation heave in the end zone, and he cleans
it
up. He must have 5 of those in his career. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. If he puts that out in front of him.
Yeah. And he still had it.
If he puts that ball out in front of him, Jackson makes a good play. It's a little bit underthrown. If he puts that ball out in front of him, he's got a chance to make a play on it. So, yeah, I think you're in this situation now. Now you should be thinking, run the football, make them use their timeouts. If you can pick up a first down, great. If not, try to pin them in. But Josh McDaniels might be play action on the first play.
Ryan says, is this the turning point we've been waiting for?
Holding.
Wiggy, is this game the turning point we've been waiting for?
I think this game is people are going to look at it and go, you know what?
Do it on the road.
Huh?
Do it on the road.
I think it's going to be that. But you know what I think also people are going to do? People like you and your partner, Maserati, you're going to be like, Minnesota, they suck. They suck.
We wouldn't do
Come on,
that.
not
Wiggy.
you guys. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Minnesota sucks. They're not a good team. They're, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. They're gonna tell us how bad Minnesota is and that the win was a decent win for the Pats, but against a shitty team.
I don't think Minnesota's not a shitty team. They have a shitty record. I mean, they have a mediocre record for a reason. So for some reason, they're not. They are not. They're not the sum of.
But see,
parts.
I would ask you if you felt like people would do that. But me asking you somebody. That's like me asking a serial killer, would you kill somebody? Because you and Maz are going to be like, this team sucks.
No. It was a good win. Okay. It's a good win. I do need to see him do it on the road. I do feel like they're a different team at home versus on the road, and that's kind of important because even if even if you end up getting home games, it still speaks to a little bit of what you are as a team if you can't go on the road and win.
But haven't we known that all year about this team?
Yeah, I mean, and that's not a good thing, though, Wig.
I know that's not a good thing, but that's why they're in a position that hopefully Kansas City will stub their toe, and they're, hopefully you got to figure. So now they're going to go on the road. They're going to go play Miami, right? So they got Miami, and then they got to go to Pittsburgh. And now I think, like you said, the Pittsburgh game is obviously going to be the game that you look at. But I would say that if you're the Patriots, you cannot, that should be a first down. You cannot.
Let me tell you something. They're going with Devlin because Michelle still can't figure out the short yardage stuff. So they're saying, fuck it, we'll give it to the fullback.
Yeah, but what's there to figure out? Get the ball and gain an inch or a yard.
Why do you think Michelle struggles in short yardage? I think it's pretty obvious he does.
Does he though? You think he struggles? I think he's the tough runner. I think he's the type of runner that at first contact he doesn't go down. I've seen him run through a lot of things. But going back to your original question, yes, this was a good win. Now it's what I'd like to see them do is go to Miami and put Miami away pretty easily before going to Pittsburgh. I would say next week against a Miami team that's not very good, to me next week is going to be more of a indication of what this Patriots team is or how I'm going to feel about them kind of moving forward. Because like I said, at home I expect them to do this, but next week if they can go down to Miami and put them away, that'll give me some confidence going into Pittsburgh, saying, okay, they played well on the road. Even though Miami's not a good team, but still, we've seen them, every team they play on the road, whether they were good or bad, they struggled with.
Wiggy, how come they suck down there in Miami so obviously?
It's I think it's one of those divisional opponents. It's the same way they go there, struggle with the Jets, and sometimes they struggle with Buffalo. It's just one of those things that, Brady and the team, struggled down in Miami. I don't know what it is. And we've seen this, think about it, a couple years ago. I remember they needed to go down to Miami. And win a game to get home field. And remember that game? They're going to call holding on Gronkowski. And remember the game? They went to Miami and they lost that game and they lost home field.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, sure. In 13, when they went down there with that running game plan. Yeah, that wasn't a Miami thing. That was just a stupid game plan.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a stupid game plan, but I've always seen them. I knew they were going to call. Why you just let him go right here? Let him go.
Right, he's gone.
Let him go. He's had a couple holding penalties today, Gronk.
He's had 3 penalties today.
So, I think next week is going to be a big one. I think next week to me is going to be more of an indicator than this game. I like what they did, but next week going to Miami, that's going to be more of an indicator for who they are.
So we kind of agree. You said Felger and Maz are going to do the Minnesota Vikings sucks thing. I'm not.
What sucks?
No. I mean, they have good talent. All right, so you beat a team with a lot of talent that had come off, that was playing well. So I'll give you credit for that. But I still think they got to prove themselves on the road.
Minnesota's a good team, but like you said, it's you watch Minnesota, and it's like it's the inconsistency of these teams. Like, say what you want about the Pats, right? They got 3 losses this year. They've struggled on the road, but for the most part, I will at least say that they're consistent, even when they're not playing that good against because they still won games on the road. Even when they're not playing that good and they won, like they beat the Jets or whatever, to me, they're just like a consistent team because when you look at what they are, like, I feel like we're watching these other teams. One week they look like, wow, they look like world beaters, and the next week they look like shit. At least the Pats are always like, they're good. They might tail off a little bit, but they're still good. I don't know. I'm just not sold on a lot of these teams in the NFL. I feel like the Pats, man, they're gonna roll through it once the playoffs come. They're gonna roll.
Okay. Getting a lot of comments on Gronkowski, Wiggy. Injury or whatever, Michael says Gronk is a shell of himself. Andrew says Gronkowski has to get cut in the offseason. Time to move on. A lot of stuff on Gronk. I think your Wilson passed the graveyard on Rob Gronkowski.
You know what?
James says, can Gronkowski play anymore? He's just a decoy again. You feel like he's more of a decoy?
No, you know what I would say? I think that they might be doing with Gronkowski is here's a guy where they might be saving him. You know how you say protecting Brady or whatnot? I would say that from watching it, I would think that they might be protecting Gronk. Just, hey, go out there, run block, set the edge, couple play actions here and there. But they looks like they're protecting him and saying, when the playoffs come, we'll get a Gronk that will be there at least. You know what I mean? That's what.
Well, you are optimistic.
I am. I am optimistic on it because like I felt I'm watching the game, right? What shows you that he's not a shell of himself? The fact that they're not throwing him the football, right?
No, how he's running. He doesn't look nearly as explosive as he has. He's not running well. I mean, the word is he has an Achilles, and he's been playing through this strained Achilles all year. Achilles. And that's a tough one.
I know that, but the thing I've looked at is they really haven't thrown the ball to him. You know, think about how many times they targeted him today, right? They haven't targeted him much today, and they didn't really target him last week. So I almost feel like they're protecting him and saying, hey, Gronk, we're not going to put you out there a ton in the passing game. Try to, if you are nicked up a little bit, you can – it's almost play but healing, When you run blocking, it's a little bit different than having to run, 20 yards downfield. So I almost feel like they're protecting him. And then in the postseason, then you –
What a stupid play. I mean, the game's over, but Michel's got to be smarter than that. He fucking runs out of bounds.
That's probably what Bill's saying to him right there.
No, quite. He's going to get his ass reamed.
He'll definitely be on that clip will be on the Monday morning film. But I think overall it's a good win. Hopefully defensively they can build off of this game. I don't want to see them going to Miami next week and Miami's throwing the ball all over the place and running the ball all over the place. Yeah.
Another fucking flag. Jesus Christ.
And what's this, 2 weeks in a row, right? Didn't they have a ton of penalties last week?
Ton. Good Lord.
Ton of-
So, do you worry, like, you're all such big Sony Michel people, just fucking love Sony Michel. Do you worry that he's going to be diminished with Burkhead back? Because it does feel like Burkhead took some of that, some of those touches away.
I think what's going to happen with Burkhead being back, you're going to see them incorporate Rex more in the passing game. And so, yes, he'll be diminished because they'll be trying to throw the ball more. I still think that they should obviously let him get his touches in the running game. But, yeah, with Burkhead back, his role will definitely take a hit a little bit, especially early in the game. Early in the game, they like to throw those screens and that kind of stuff.
Somehow, I think he'll survive. Rick says, do you think Michel still sucks, Felger? I never said he sucks. I said I don't care about running backs. I think it's stupid to draft a running back in the first round. I don't think – yeah, Maz said he sucks and blows, and then he took it back. Michel seems fine to me. Fine. I think there's Sony Michels everywhere, and you don't need to draft, spend a first-round pick on a guy like that. You can find a guy like that anywhere at any time, and so it's stupid to draft a running back in the first round. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very.
But you've been hopping on that for God knows how long, right? I mean,
yep. Ever since I got
right. So you're gonna die on that hill, no matter what. No matter what, he could rush for 1,800 yards, and you'll still be saying, you know what, you can find a running back, and you can find that guy in the third, fourth round.
You could undrafted.
That's because you see guys like Kamara, and you see guys, like Hunt.
How about the guy in Denver? You watch this Lindsey kid?
Oh yeah. I've been on him. I like him. He's a good player. But see, that's the thing. You'll see guys like that. There'll always be those, couple of guys every year that'll stick out. And then you'll be like, hey, you can find a running back anywhere. But, for me, if you can find if he's a good player and you draft him in the first round, so be it.
Pat says, what's Tony's excuse going to be tomorrow? I don't know. Let's find out.
I already told you. Here's the excuse, Pat, from both Felger and Maz. Mark my words, tomorrow. Minnesota is a shitty team. They suck. That's all it is. That'll be the narrative. They suck.
Okay, this thing is just about over. You got any final thoughts there, Wig?
Next week in Miami will be more of an indicator than today's game. I think they played well, but I'm like you said, I'm kind of with you on this one. I don't agree with you often, but show me what you can do on the road.
Okay, babe. With the clock ticking inside of a minute, Pat's punting here. This ball game is over. Why don't we wrap it up, Wiggy? And I will join you next Sunday for the fourth quarter. Pat's at Miami.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, talk to you then. See ya.